Welcome back, everyone, to Fieldr Academy podcast. This is your host, Connor Firmender, CEO and co-founder of Fieldr. We're bringing you episode 6 of Fieldr Academy podcast, Startup During Pandemic, with our wonderful guest today, Sarah Newcomb. Today's topic is going to be on startups during this crisis and pressing forward through the entrepreneurial journey. We'll focus on speaking about starting a business during the COVID crisis. The two of us, myself and Sarah, will review the benefits, troubles, and to aim to motivate others to use this time wisely in their own startup venture. While Sarah Newcomb works on developing the Estero Chamber and supporting all businesses locally, she is also in the process of starting up her own company and has a ton of insights to share with the community of entrepreneurs and business owners. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and I'll just introduce Sarah. She is the first person to serve as president and CEO of Estero Chamber of Commerce. That's extremely neat, actually, the first person. I love it. Her professional career includes 5 years with the Lee County government, where she spent most of her time helping businesses grow as a business development specialist with economic development. She also held the role of Director of College and Career Initiatives with the Foundation for Lee County Public Schools, where she coordinated field trips for high school students to learn about local businesses and career fields. Much of her leadership training stems from her time as an area manager with Amazon. Sarah graduated with a bachelor's degree in business supervision and management from Florida Southwestern State College and completed the program with a 3.4 GPA, as well as was part of the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. I hope I said that right. She continues to participate in training and courses that assist in her helping small businesses. She also finds time to give back to the community by volunteering and is currently in the process of opening her own business, as we mentioned. So, Sarah, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead. We'll dive right in. We just kind of touched on some of your previous endeavors. What your history consists of. First and foremost, we'll dive into your experience right now, starting up your own company. We'll get into the name of that and the details. But first and foremost, given what seems to be the primary role as exec director of the Estero Chamber, I'm sure our listeners are super curious. How is the Estero Chamber staying connected with the community during the circumstances?
I think we're doing kind of what every other business is doing, because essentially that's what we are. We're sending out weekly emails with as many resources as we can, anything that we can provide from other businesses in our community that can help those businesses. Social media, anything that we see our members posting on social media, we're sharing it. If they're opening different hours, if they have some kind of special thing that they're doing during this rough time, we're trying to share it so that other people can possibly help. And then last week, I sent out a personal email to all of our members, just letting them know that we're still here, we care, we want to help in any way that we can. And so we're just trying to stay connected with other chambers to find out how we can all work together, as well as the Lee County Economic Development Office, just to provide as many resources as possible. But I think the big part is just letting them know that we're here and that anything that we can do to help, we will.
And I definitely, I've been doing my best to not just myself stay informed in all the resources you're all releasing, but also express to our listeners in actually previous podcast episodes. The Estero Chamber has been brought up a few times, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Estero Chamber has actually a resources page or something along those lines. Is that correct?
Yes, we actually just launched today officially. So the goal was to kind of get all of the local chambers, all of the economic development offices, kind of everyone on one page. And if we could have one page that provided resources for everyone, rather than people going to 10 different pages to get answers to their questions, we wanted to be able to provide that. And we actually worked with Sick Boy, who is our technology partner, in creating that. So now if you go to the Estero Chamber website, right on the top, there's a button that says COVID-19 resources, and it links you directly to that page.
Is that the Emerge page?
That's the Emerge page.
Yes. Of course, the Estero Chamber has much more involvement than we do. But I'm not sure if Jordan might have expressed to you, but in recent weeks, Jordan and Fieldr, Stickboy and Fieldr, We've begun to build a relationship with them. Love their team. Love Jordan. We've been back and forth a ton. Right out of the gate, of course, expressed that you two, they're your tech partner, and it was super cool actually. Jordan invited us, to be providing some information. So I know I saw that Jordan sent out an email recently, kind of a bit of a press release, but I believe that they're going to be launching that Emerge Southwest Florida site here soon, if they already haven't, right? Or they did. Okay, they did.
As of today.
Okay, as of today. Okay, so it is live.
Yeah, and actually, yes, Fieldr is featured on the page quite a few times. I think all of your podcasts are on there, including the one with Jordan. So,
yep.
So that's awesome. So thank you for supporting that and getting involved.
Absolutely. No, right out of the gate, we knew we wanted to get involved, and then when you expressed that Sarah and the Estero Chamber were involved, then we came running. We're just excited to just have a part and do our part in which you all, which you two have already begun establishing. So it's phenomenal. I'm totally on your page as far as how you just mentioned taking what was kind of not a widespread, but just, there were a variety of resources that you can go to. So kind of consolidating that and making it that one go-to page, that one go-to source to save, on time and reliability. So
right. Well, and I've been trying to get into our chamber office once a week. I know I did pledge to stay home, but I try to get in there once a week by myself and kind of work on things. And some like they used to. Sometimes I don't get one the entire day, but there are some days that I get 3 or 4 phone calls, and they're always the same thing. And so we wanted that to reflect onto that page where people that are calling and saying, how do I apply for unemployment? Where do I go? How do I get the paper application? What loans are available, and which one is best for me? All those questions that I was receiving, we put those on the page, and so instead of you being confused about which website to go to or what link to use, you just click on the question that you need answered, and it directs you right to that specific web page. So it's a lot easier, it's user-friendly, and it's a one-stop shop for everyone.
I love it. You said it right there. So it's the one-stop shop and to save on time. So absolutely phenomenal. And we'll make sure then in this podcast we'll include the links to that, so we make sure all of our listeners can get access to that. So beautiful. So perfect. Well, let's kind of redirect it now. We brought you on here. Especially we would love to hear about what you have going on. So if you don't mind, go ahead, dive right into your new company. And if I have the name correctly, is it fully the Fort Myers Wine Room? Is it the Wine Room of Fort Myers? Clarify with that for me and dive in.
No, so it's actually just the wine room with the idea back in August, right before I took a trip to Europe, and I went through so many different names, just trying to come up with something that was cool and modern and catchy, and everything just kept coming back to the wine room. If I say, Connor, meet me at the wine room, like, that's so much easier than some long name that you're not sure what it is, And it's not a bar either. It's only wine and beer, so that's why I kept it with the room, because I didn't want people to get confused. So the wine room is just a combination of everything that I love. It's wine. I love wine. Many of us do. Entrepreneurship is my passion. I've worked in the business community for the past 8 or 10 years, and I've always helped other businesses start and grow. And so it's fun to be able to learn, take everything that I've learned and everything I've experienced with other businesses and use it for my own business. And then the third aspect of it is giving back to the community. So 3% of all bottle sales that are going to be at the wine room go back to a local nonprofit. So this is basically just going to be almost like a lounge. There's going to be comfortable seating. There's going to be table seating, bar seating, and you can come in, enjoy a glass of wine. 5 of them are private labels, so they're coming out of California, and they'll have the wine room on them. And those are more for, people that are visiting and maybe just want to take something home that says downtown Fort Myers on it. And then the rest of the wines are all no sulfite added. So, which means they have less preservatives, which means that you don't get as much of the side effects that some people do. Some people get hangovers from wine. Some people get headaches, they get stuffy noses, congestion. So when you have the wines that have no extra sulfites added, no extra preservatives, you're relieving people from that headache, really. So it's just going to be a laid-back atmosphere where you can enjoy a glass of wine, have a conversation, work on your laptop while you're having a glass of wine. And then, like I said, 3% of all bottle sales go back to local nonprofits. So I'll be choosing 3 nonprofits per year. And then when let's say you come in and purchase 3 bottles of wine, you get to choose which local nonprofit you want that to benefit. So it's literally a combination of everything that I'm passionate about. So that's why I'm just so excited.
You know, you mentioned a few things that I'm, falling in love with, and I'm already a huge fan of it. I first and foremost, I love, and I think our listeners are going to love that you're structuring your model around, not quite around that. I take that back. You're including a give back model, right? We see nowadays as entrepreneurs, it is a necessity, I'd say, to some way, shape, or form involve, corporate social responsibility, and a charitable give back model is certainly a well proven, common, and just a well advocated for, I'd say, model. So I'm a huge fan of that, and commend you for that. And I'd say so does our community already. And Sarah, feel free to shut this down, because I don't want to say this and then have you say, well, Connor, it's not even like that. But from the concept of what you were getting at, with the whole laptop, the relaxing lounge, grab the wine, am I in the ballpark of saying you're going to kind of be, a bit of the Starbucks for the wine connoisseurs, the Starbucks for the wine lovers? Is that anywhere near what you're envisioning?
Yeah, so I have used that a few times, just because all of us love Starbucks. Love Starbucks, and we're glad that many of them are still open during this pandemic. But you cannot go in there and have a quiet conversation, because usually the music is pretty loud. So as much as we love meeting there and having meetings there, usually it's pretty loud. But also you can't enjoy a glass of wine there. So if you want to have an afternoon meeting, and even if it is a business meeting, let's be honest, a lot of us have, even the chambers, we have our after hours events with beer and wine. So it's not a bad thing to have a meeting with a glass of wine or a beer in your hand.
You're not taking shots of tequila. You're enjoying a nice glass of some wine. Absolutely.
Exactly. So why not have a quiet atmosphere where you can do that? Or even if it's not, I know when I travel, a lot of times, especially if it's for work or whatever, I'm sitting in the airport with my laptop and a glass of wine, and it's so loud, and I just love to be able to work and enjoy a glass of wine, but it's so loud. So all of these experiences are what made me think of this, because even if I want to go out with girlfriends and we want to go and have wine and be able to catch up, where can you do that? Where can you do that where it's quiet and relaxing, and we just don't have that in downtown anymore.
No, I love it. And on the note of, the Starbucks, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I certainly love, unfortunately not right now given the circumstances, but I love to leverage Starbucks as a meeting place. It's neutral. Most oftentimes my client, a guest, whoever I might be meeting with, do enjoy a coffee. And so it works out for both of us. It's a nice meeting spot for us. But at the end of the day, I can definitely see individuals like myself, business owners, whoever it be, even just not business owners, bringing their clients to this wine room, especially in that past 3, 4, 5 o'clock, I'd say, time frame, when you're still having those meetings or whatever it be, head over to your wine room, grab a glass of wine, and it'll be very classy, very professional setting still. And I'm on board. You're gonna catch me there at your grand opening. I'm on board.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely. So, obviously with everything going on, it's got to be tough to be starting this up. Can you really be doing anything right now? And B, if you are, maybe what are some things you're doing that, to continue pressing forward, to just keep taking this next steps and getting this open and preparing for when this does blow over?
Well, luckily, nothing has stopped for me when it comes to the wine room. Construction is still an essential job, so they have been in there working on the plumbing and working on the flooring, and the space that I lease is actually it's on the corner of Broadway and Main downtown, and so it's right next to Hotel Indigo, and the whole place has been remodeled, and they had to bring it up to ADA compliance, and I mean it's just had a lot of work done. So luckily construction is still going. We just finished the floors last week. We're going to start on the building the bar and all the inside work over the next 2 weeks. So it is scary right now because we don't know what the future holds, but I'm just continuing to do what I can. And I mean, in that aspect, none of the offices that I need right now are closed. They're all open. I mean, the health department is still open, permitting is still open, all of these government offices are still open. So I'm kind of lucky in that aspect on the timing. And now that I have extra time, you know, between the chamber, not driving to Estero, you know, because I actually live in Decatur, so I have that extra time to kind of work on it. So I'm pressing forward. I mean, there's nothing that has stopped me besides about my opening.
And on that note, you know, do you have a time frame? I'm sure it's got to be tough to pinpoint, you know, maybe even an anticipated quarter of the year, but is there kind of a grand opening estimation?
You know, the goal is June, but it's crazy because this situation has, you know, it's kind of changed everyone's way of doing business and way of thinking. And so I'm already thinking about doing an online grand opening, you know, some kind of Facebook Live grand opening, and you know, if things aren't back to normal by June, which none of us know, and if that's the case, then I'll be doing what everyone else is doing, and you can stop by and pick up your bottles of wine. And I've already talked about doing virtual wine tastings, where I'll be in the wine room showing you online, you know, what the wines are, and at home you can taste them while I'm teaching you. So I'm coming up with just as many ideas as I can to kind of get it going. I know it sounds so crazy to open a business during the pandemic, but I mean, at the end of the day, we still have bills to pay.
And at the end of the day, it's really times like this that, you know, opportunity arises. You know, I know your whole concept of the virtual grand opening. I like that. I'm like brainstorming right up that, you know, you have your 1 week block maybe, you know, where you can have your guests, your soon to be guests and customers come pick up the bottles of wine, whatever it be. So, you know, you're right out of the gate, you know, you're selling the wine, you're getting into the hands of your future, your immediate customers, but of, you know, future attendees to the actual location. So you have like that 1 week block, whatever, where it's like, come get your bottle of wine. And then you do your virtual grand opening online, where it's like you have that one large, you know, I don't know if it be a webinar or just a video virtual grand opening where everybody now has your product, so they're not drinking their own wine, they have your product, and then they can sit there and you can have that grand opening while they're sipping their glass of your wine at home. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Well, and that's why I said, you know, we'll probably go Facebook Live, just because all of my family is up north, and they've all said, like, you know, let us know when the grand opening is going to happen. They want to come down, but obviously that can't happen. So that's the other option, is everyone can tune in and at least get to see it and get a virtual tour of it. And I think that'll build the anticipation and the excitement for when they can physically come visit.
Well, you know, so on the topic of adversity, right? We have a pretty, you know, wide array of an audience. We certainly cater to our business owners and staff, but of course, you know, with what Fieldr does, we do have quite a plenty of emerging talent, of younger students, younger professionals. Do you have any, you know, tips or tactics to share with them regarding, you know, starting a company, you know, maybe specifically to the entrepreneurs out there, but starting a company through adversity? Is there anything, you know, that you can share that might help them push through?
You know, I have two things. One, utilize your time. I hear so many people saying they're binging shows on Netflix, and they're watching these movies, and that's great. You know, the downtime is great. But this is a time to, if you have ideas, if you have something that you've been thinking about, like, this is the time to start researching that. You have all the time in the world right now to stay up late, to work throughout the day, to research, ask questions, join groups on Facebook, Google, whatever you need to Google. There's so many online resources, but if you have an idea, you should be at least researching it to see if it's a possibility, because you never know. You know, online shopping is booming right now. Marketing is booming right now, online marketing. So if somebody who wants to start an online store, right now is the time. You know, there's just a lot of opportunity. And I think people, instead of looking at this time as negative, they should be, you know, thinking about that. The other thing is using resources. I cannot stress that enough. I think there are so many people, anybody. I mean, I have a FGCU student who's emailing me right now, who's asking me, she's working on a project, and she wants to know just different things about the chamber. And so use resources. Anybody you know, any group that you can get in on Facebook, again, friends, parents that are home and out of work right now. I mean, any resource you can use at this moment, use it. You know, but I think utilizing the time is essential right now.
I couldn't agree more. You know, I've probably said this on all of our episodes, but I'll say it again. Above all else, now is not just a time to be safe and healthy. Of course, that comes first, but be opportunistic. Take advantage of having whoever your target audience might be. There's a 99% chance they are sitting with their tablet to their left. They got their desktop in front of them, computer to their right, their phone in front of them. I mean, we have such a tech savvy world that is, you know, at home. You know, maybe essential workers are absolutely, they're still out in the field, they're still working, but there are still plenty of downtime that these essential workers are still also home during this lockdown, where they can't go out, they can't go to a bar or anything like that. So we have a whole world of tech savvy people that I feel is so easy, frankly easy, and just so, you know, seamless to reach them through you know, through social media, through digital marketing, through your research. You know, and to your point, if you're not, you know, starting to sell, if you're not reaching out to customers or selling, or whatever it be, whatever stage you're at in your company, in your startup, market research. You know, just spend that time, spend that downtime, maybe cut off yourself from that additional Netflix episode or movie, and just start hammering away some market research, so you can prepare yourself on the other side of this. You've now taken advantage of that time. You've now done plenty of market research, and you're coming out of this with a clear head and a direction on where to take the next steps to, instead of, like you just said, strictly viewing this as such a negative time. You know, view this as a time to seize, take advantage of opportunity, because you know, it's unprecedented times like this that will you know, just set us off into a whole new era of way things are done, and you want to be a part of that era. You want to be a part of the new way things are done, you know. And so now, you know, kind of back to the topic of wine, because this is really intriguing. I'm very intrigued by this. Why wine? I know you touched on it being your passion, but I love, you know, I feel like you can build on it more, because, you know, when somebody's passionate about something, they have, you know, loads to say. I would love to just hear, maybe, you know, just the history and the passion with wines, and maybe, if you got to have a few off the top of your head, some recommendations, some of your favorite wines that some of our listeners could you know, maybe go pick up at Publix or their local shop, and enjoy a glass this weekend.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of my passion for wine comes from traveling. So I absolutely love traveling. And one of the things that I love to do when I travel is visit wineries and wine bars. I love to learn about the background of the wine, how it was made. There's so many different ways that it's made, and so many different grapes that are used, and different regions that make the taste different. And so I've been up and down the West Coast and tasted wines in Washington State and Oregon and California, of course, all over Napa Valley. Definitely not all of them, because there's so many, but they all have a different taste. They all have a different story, which I love. Last year I went to Europe, and the same thing. You know, we drank wine in London, and then we drank wine in Germany, and in Italy, and I mean everywhere. I mean, there it's so accessible. I mean, you literally can walk into any around with you. But the one thing that I love about visiting the wineries is the relaxed atmosphere. That's one thing that I want to have in the wine room is that just that relaxed, clean, earthy feel. And so all of that is part of the passion. So I think the travel aspect to it, and I think being able to give that background knowledge to people is exciting for me. And I get asked that all the time. I get asked, what wine should I be drinking? And there's no one wine for anyone. Literally every single brand tastes different. You can have two Chardonnays, and they're both going to be different. One may be more dry than the other. It just depends on your taste buds. But I do tell everyone who drinks wine for the first time that Moscato is your starter wine. That's the wine that is sweet. It's not too dry. And usually anyone who has never had wine, they'll start with that. So any pink Moscato, red Moscato, white Moscato, that's your starter. But if you like more of the, if that's too sweet for you, because it's way too sweet for me, then you'll start to go into your Sauvignon Blancs and your Chardonnays, which have a more dry and even sometimes bitter taste. But then you can go into your reds, and then the reds go into dessert wine. So there's so many different kinds that to recommend one for anyone would just be kind of hard to do.
I hear you.
If you've never had wine, go grab a bottle of Moscato and just try it out. I think with wine, it's the same as beer, because I'm not a beer drinker, but it's an acquired taste. And so your taste change as you drink more of it. So the more wine that you taste and the different wines that you taste, the more you're going to like it, and the more you're going to find what you like the most.
And so, absolutely agree with you on your point is, it's difficult to pinpoint, any one recommendation or any few, honestly, to that extent. I love having, you just expressed a great starter wine. So let's just say it's Thursday night, Friday night, 6-7 o'clock, whatever time it might be. What is Sarah's go-to? What do you have? I'm sure you got plenty on the shelf. What are you grabbing off the shelf on a Thursday happy hour, Friday happy hour to enjoy?
It's just a regular day. It's just Sauvignon Blanc is my go-to.
Okay.
Sauvignon Blanc is not too sweet. It's not too dry. It's my go-to. And Kim Crawford is the brand that if I'm in the grocery store and I just need to grab one, it's like $12. It's not expensive, but it's not your cheap, bad tasting. You can get a $3 bottle of wine. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's not going to taste the best, and you're going to have a horrible hangover. So go for the $12 to $20 bottles, and you're usually safe. But I also have to say that I do order a lot of my wine from New York, Connecticut, and Washington State, because I've traveled there and I like those wines, so I actually get them shipped here.
Okay. Hey, I'm all for that. I love it. Once you find your it factor, and once you find what you love, I absolutely hear you on having it ordered in, shipped in. My go-to, and I am nowhere near your level of expertise and true love with it. I day by day, time after time of enjoying, a few glasses of wine, I love it more and more. I've definitely become quite the wine drinker. My go-to is, and I hope I don't butcher this word, a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yep.
Did I say that right?
The red. Yep.
Yes, the red. I'm a big red guy.
Okay. Do you like the oakiness of it?
I do. Yes, I do. And is that when you would refer to it as a bit dry?
The oakiness is almost like it's almost like an oak taste. It's almost like you kind of get that taste of maybe you're sitting by the campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of reds are they stay in a oak barrel, and so that's where they get that oakiness taste. A lot of whites are in steel barrels, and so that's why you don't get the oakiness in the white. So I am not a fan of the oakiness.
Okay.
And so I like the cleaner, crisp taste, and so that's why I like the whites a little bit more.
Okay, perfect. All right. Hey, well, that I was just educated in myself. I didn't even. I guess I couldn't even really pinpoint why I liked it, but you just pinpointed exactly why I do like it, and so that's.
Yeah. But the more, I mean, we're gonna have wine tastings at the wine room. I didn't mention that, but we will have wine tastings that'll change weekly, and so that gives you an opportunity to taste different wines, and you'll learn as you taste different reds. I mean, if you went to the store right now and got, 4 different bottles, you included some Merlots, and you would taste. I mean, just sitting there and just and don't down the whole bottle, but actually took a second to taste the wine, you would notice the difference in the flavors and even the scent. I mean, smell it, and the smells of them are very different.
Perfect. And so I love it. And so first and foremost, while we're recording this, I'm sitting here ready to text my roommate on his way home to pick up a bottle of wine this evening because I am now in the mood. We're recording this on a Friday. I am now in the mood to enjoy myself a glass of some wine. It's the end of the week, so that's funny. But well, great. So I know, Sarah, we're coming here near to our end. And I know you're shooting for that June opening, whether it do be that in-person grand opening, or that bottle pickup plus the virtual grand opening. I'm sure it's going to work out. But we need to know where our listeners can find you, where they can get all information. So go ahead and share with our listeners where they can get this information, where they can stay updated with you, with Sarah, and with Wine Room specifically.
Yep. Yeah, so there's actually a couple ways. I've already started posting on social media. We have a Facebook page, Facebook/The Wine Room FM. We also have Instagram, The Wine Room FM. So I'm using FM for Fort Myers because there are other wine rooms in the state of Florida. So I wanted to differentiate that by using the FM. So Facebook, Instagram, and then our website is up as well. And you can subscribe to our newsletters, which we will be starting to send out in May to keep up to date. And so the website is, again, thewineroomfm.com. So you can reach out if you want to email me through there or through social media. Feel free to share and follow. I try to post weekly on what's going on with construction and where we are with everything. And then the big thing that we're trying to do on social media too is this is about community. And so if you know anyone, Connor, if anyone listening is interested, I'm looking for someone who is a good writer, because I want to write a story about basically our story, the wine room story, and I want to include every single company that I've worked with along the way in that story. So I want to kind of create some kind of interesting, funny, enjoyable, just little paragraph or so that includes all of these community members that have been helping with us.
I will make sure I keep an eye out, and I will make sure if anybody does come across my my playing field, I'll send them right your way. And for all of our listeners, you heard her directly, reach out to her. I'll make sure in all of our postings of this podcast, I include your domains for your Instagram, for your Facebook, for the website. I'll make sure I include all that in there so our listeners can get a hold of you.
Awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure. Awesome. Well, that brings us to the end. All of our listeners, I appreciate you tuning in to episode 6. It was lovely chatting with you, Sarah. I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks everyone for listening.
Awesome. Well, everyone, again, thank you. We hope you continue to stay healthy, stay safe. Re-listen to this episode, pour yourself a glass of wine and listen to this episode. It was a lot of fun having Sarah on. But otherwise, above all else, we said this earlier, stay healthy, stay safe, be opportunistic, take advantage of this time. This too shall pass. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing everyone on the other side. Everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.